Hello everyone! Welcome to a detailed beginner's guide on Bee Swarm Simulator. This video will have many sections, each time-stamped so you can easily skip to or find what you're looking for. My name is Xnose and I've been playing Bee Swarm Simulator since 2018. I have 2 accounts and my newest account I got to the Petal Wand in just 2 weeks. Here's what I have learned while streaming it and taking notes from the community. Before getting into the video, make sure that you have joined the club so that you can access free rewards and be able to put in codes so that you can get more while you play. First and foremost, the most important thing about Bee Swarm Simulator in the early game is to get to 35 bees as fast as possible. You shouldn't worry too much about what bees you have, but I would recommend not having a brave bee or a basic bee unless they're gifted. In the beginner's shop, the most important thing to buy are the clippers, which cost 2,200 honey. If you head on over to the clover field, you'll find a little area that's covered in vines. Go there with your clippers, and you'll be able to unlock the commando chick area. If you kill that commando chick 50 times, you get a free mythic egg, which means that you'll have one of the most powerful bees pretty much early in the game. So if you have any friends that play Bee Swarm, please ask them to help you out on killing that commando chick, because it gets to a pretty high level. When starting off, the most important thing really is just getting to 15 bees. Once you have 15 bees, you should try killing your mobs as much as you can and as regularly as you can. They give you materials and they help level up your bees, which is really good. The main 2 items you'll want to focus is the Elite Barrel and the Pulsar, because once you have these 2 items, then you can focus on getting to 25 bees. Once you have 25 bees, your main focus is getting a honey dipper and a portahive in the pro shop. After that, your main focus is getting to 30 bees. Once you have 30 bees, you should focus on getting the helmet, the boots, the belt, and the golden rig all in the mountaintop shop. Once you have all of those, then you just rush 35. An important thing to note is that you should never buy the sparking staff wand. That thing is useless. When doing quests, you should only be focusing on the black bear quest until you get to the 35 area, in which case you'll be focusing only on the spirit bear quest. Unlocking every quest is really important, but I would never recommend handing in a honeybee quest unless you have to boost. The only quest you should be finishing first from all the bears is the mother bear, because that one's easy to finish. Once you get your second spirit petal, focus on finishing Star Journey 5 and Panda Bear quests. With your materials, try to not use them as much as possible. The less you use, the better in the long run. You'll need 5 diamond eggs for a diamond mask if you plan on going blue, 5 gold eggs for the honey mask, which is required for every player. And then on top of that, later on with spirit bear quests, you'll have to donate gold eggs and silver eggs, so make sure to keep on to those. If you get a night bell, you should always keep 1 in your inventory, because during the spirit bear quest, you'll have to give 1 away. When given a star egg, you should only use it once you have every bee, starting from the basic bee all the way to the shy bee, gifted in your hive. If not, you're gonna waste your egg. When getting tickets, your first 250 tickets should be going to either a crimson or cobalt bee, depending on how many more reds or blues you have in your hive at that time. For your first 500 ticket bee, you should be spending it on a tabby bee or a photon bee. Personally, I like photon, but that's up to you. After you have those 2 bees, you should buy the festive bee, because that bee is really important. If you didn't buy Cub Buddy with Robux, after you get the festive bee, you should save up for one of them. Puppy bee can wait. When getting your gummy bee, if you're 1,000 gumdrops away, it's okay to buy gumdrops with tickets. And if you're 30 singers away from the vicious bee, it's okay to buy them too. Just remember, more than 300 is too much. So you finally made it to the main quest line of the game. Well done! Now, here are your tasks. You must finish getting all of the gear in the mountaintop shop, which means you'll have to buy the porcelain dipper and porcelain bag. Once you have those, if you don't have a vicious bee yet, that's your main focus. Once you have a vicious bee, you gotta level it to level 11. So put that vicious bee in the highest level slot you have in your hive. With a level 11 vicious bee, you'll be able to kill your coconut crab, which is really useful to you because that gives you tropical drinks, coconuts, glue, glitter, star jelly, and more. That thing is really important to kill as fast as you can. Once you have a level 11 vicious bee, your next focus is getting all the gear in the ace shop, meaning the honey mask, both cobalt and crimson guard, and the honeycomb belt. When buying sprinklers, you can stop at the gold sprinkler, because honestly, they're pretty good. Once you finish getting all of your ace gear, you should be at spirit bear quest number 7. That's where I was, and at that point, you need to save all your materials now for that petal wand. That petal wand is really important. Do not use that first petal on trying to get a windy bee. Once you have a spirit Spirit Petal, I recommend trying to get the coconut clogs first. Many Bee Swarm players will disagree with me. However, the ability to force your bees to move faster, produce tokens faster, and attack faster with the drop of a coconut is way more beneficial to me than a bigger backpack. If you think about it, you'll be able to kill your coconut crab a lot faster, meaning way more tropical drinks as a reward. You'll also be a really good sprout stealing demon. Good luck, public server warriors. Now that you have your second petal, you have two options to choose from, whether it's making a petal belt or donating it to the Wind Shrine. Some people argue that since you have the max loot luck you can with the honeycomb belt, that petal belt is not that useful, and that donating the second petal is better because you have a low to mid chance of getting a windy bee early. However, if you do that, you are enticed to use more cloud vials for donating and not for actually using. Cloud vials are very useful, especially when grinding, and not to mention that you have to donate way more expensive items to finish your Spirit Bear quests. You'll also have more favor when you have the third petal than you do your second, thus making it more likely that you'll be getting your windy bee in 100 vials or less. If you do choose to make the petal belt, you'll also have to decide between whether you want to make it first or if you'll want to make the gummy mask first. Both items are very essential and are both end game, but ultimately, you can only get one before the other, so choose wisely. For a very long time, you're gonna have quests that'll ask you to collect white, red, and blue pollen. So the best bet is to be as mixed as possible. So for your blue bees, you'll want frosty bees. For your red bees, you'll want shy bees. And then for whites, you'll want carpenters. Carpenters are universally better on each field. So I would recommend having 2 to 3 frosties and shies in your hive. And then the rest are carpenters. When donating to the Wind Shrine, will normally end up being wins. When you get wins, this is referred to as a boost, because these wins give you a boost in pollen and instant conversion in those fields. When you have these wins, generally speaking, these will be the only times in which you'll be making 10 to 20 times the amount of honey you'll usually make. So whenever you have a quest that says donate to the shrine, please use those opportunities to boost. Star amulets are unlocked by having unique gifted bees. The best star amulet to have is a Supreme Star Amulet, which needs 40 unique gifted bees. You don't have to have them in your hive at that time, but you have had to have them at least once. The most difficult bees to gift are the event bees, which can only be gifted with a star tree, which is bought for 1,000 tickets in the event shop. You should only be buying these once you have every single bee bought in that shop. Once you gift every single bee, from your basic bee all the way to your last mythic bee, all the honey you make after that will be spent on buying tickets. It's okay to use some of your honey to make a better hive, but unless you're starting to swap to a specific color, you're still going to be making no honey at all. So you might as well use that honey into buying tickets to get those star treats faster. I want to say a quick thank you to everyone who helped me make this guide, as well as everyone who watches my streams every time I go live. You can catch one of my streams over at twitch.tv/xnodes. I'd love to see you there. If this video helped you out a lot, please consider subscribing, as I intend to make more Bee Swarm Simulator videos in the future. Thanks for watching, and I'll smell you later.